welcome to my channel. My name is Alex K. I'm a kettlebell and bodyweight expert. I'm here to help you on your fitness journey to getting stronger, getting more mobile, and getting familiar with these exercises and more. Okay. One of the questions that I get quite often is, what kettlebell should I start with? Okay. So people who aren't familiar with working out with kettlebells, they're also a little bit daunted as to what's going to be appropriate. The exercises look a little strange. You're not sure what to use. I'm going to start off by answering about the different types of kettlebell, and then we'll come back to how heavy that kettlebell should be. Now these kettlebells here are professional grade or competition grade kettlebells. They're made out of steel. They're all exactly the same size, shape, dimensions. They just weigh different amounts. This yellow one is a 16 kilogram. This gray one is 20 kilos. And this pink one is 8 kilograms. Now I have a complete range going from 8 kilograms in this size up to 48 kilograms in exactly the same size and shape. And the benefit from that is that I get used to holding the kettlebell a certain way. That doesn't change if I go up a weight or even if I go down a weight in the kettlebell. So if I rack a 16 kilogram kettlebell, it sits a certain way on my body, it takes up a certain amount of space. I get used to how much space to provide the kettlebell when it's going through my legs. And that doesn't change if I use an 8 kilogram. It still sits exactly the same way. It still takes up the same amount of space. And I get used to using the kettlebell in exactly the same way. So there's a benefit to the kettlebell staying the same size and shape, just the weight changing. It's made out of steel, which makes it indestructible. It's going to outlast me. You can also get steel kettlebells that are different sizes. This is 12 kilograms, this is 6 kilograms. These are not competition grade kettlebells. So those ones will get physically bigger and smaller depending on the weight. Same with iron kettlebells. Iron kettlebells, physically bigger with more weight, physically smaller with less weight, or even budget kettlebells that are plastic filled with sand. They'll get bigger and smaller depending on the weight of the kettlebell. These are most expensive, okay? Quite expensive. If you can afford it, this is what I recommend. Buy them from Wolverson's Fitness. That's where I get my kettlebells. I don't get any kind of kickback from them. They're just a great place to buy kettlebells from. They sell a bunch of other kettlebells as well, so you can check that out if you're looking for something a little bit cheaper, okay? Anything other than these competition grade kettlebells will be cheaper than these ones. So the standard steel kettlebells are going to be a little bit cheaper than these. The iron kettlebells are going to be cheaper still. Budget kettlebells, plastic ones filled with sand, are going to be quite cheap. But those ones will be physically very large if there's a reasonable amount of weight. If you drop anything other than a steel kettlebell, you risk breaking the kettlebell, if not the floor. An iron kettlebell, I've had iron kettlebells in the past, I've dropped them, I've broken the handle off of the kettlebell, so now it's useless to me. If you have a plastic kettlebell, you drop it, you split the plastic, the sand comes out, it's going to make a huge mess. But if that's what your budget allows, buy that, start there, save up, finish here, okay? So those are the different types of kettlebells that you can purchase. Competition grade, professional steel kettlebells from Wolverson's Fitness. Those are the ones that I recommend. What size kettlebell? That depends on your fitness journey. How big are you? How strong are you? How far along in your fitness journey are you? It doesn't really matter whether you're particularly familiar with kettlebell exercises. If you're going to get a kettlebell, you'll eventually become familiar with kettlebell exercises. You're going to learn them on your journey. Kettlebell exercises rely a lot on momentum or on body mechanics, levers to move that kettlebell. So you'll be surprised at how quickly you can move a significant amount of weight, okay? So don't look to get something that is incredibly light unless you are very early on in your fitness journey, or you are physically in a position where having a very light weight is appropriate for you where you are at the moment, okay? But I would say something like this, a 6 kilogram kettlebell, if you buy one of these, you're very, very quickly going to outgrow this kettlebell. So look to get something 12 to 16 kilograms if you are relatively new to kettlebells, but you've got a little bit of fitness behind you. Or you can maybe think of, if you are quite strong already, you can think of 16 to 20, even edging up to 24 kilograms if you are a bit stronger and you're used to working out in the gym. So really it depends, but if you do have some specific questions, if you can give me a bit more information about where you are in your fitness journey, I can maybe be a bit more specific about which weight kettlebell would be most appropriate for you. But hopefully that explains a little bit about the different types of kettlebells you can get and the different exercises that we can do. I'll just show you quickly that if I was to be performing, if I bought myself a 6 kilogram kettlebell and I'm pressing a 6 kilogram kettlebell, this is not appropriate for me. It's quite light. It's not going to tax me enough to allow me to grow and improve on my fitness journey. Same if I was swinging the kettlebell, or even snatching the kettlebell, performing an exercise like a windmill, okay? So those are an example of some kettlebell exercises. 6 kilogram is not appropriate for me. Maybe something a bit heavier, swings. It all depends on where you are in your fitness journey, on what's appropriate for you. Hope that helps. Put some comments below. I'll help you out a little bit more. See you soon.